And turning the spotlight now to this, it's more than a feeling. Anti-Semitic hate crimes are on the rise. Is Kanye West to blame for it all? I-24 News senior U.S. correspondent Mike Wagenheim joining us now live from New York City with the official NYPD data. Is anti-Semitism a thing again, Mike?
It's far from anecdotal, Ellie. The numbers coming out for November from the New York Police Department, from their hate crimes unit, 45 documented hate crimes against Jews in New York City last month. That was 60% of all hate crimes in the city, and a 125% increase in hate crimes against Jews year over year, based on the data that came in last November. That involves everything from threats against synagogues in Manhattan to gel gun attacks against Hasidic Jews here in Brooklyn to racist and anti-Semitic notes that are being left at Jewish institutions, and this is just in one city in 1 month. The White House has gone so far as to hold an anti-Semitism roundtable discussion with Jewish leaders coming up at the White House on Wednesday. This issue finally, after Jews sounded the alarm now for almost 2.5 years since the pandemic was underway, it appears finally to be taken seriously.
Well, definitely seriously, and there's no other better way, rather, to address serious issues with some humor. I want to quote what Borat is saying this evening. This is, of course, comedian Sacha Baron Cohen's satiric character. "I'm very upset about the anti-Semitism in the U.S., and it's unfair," says Borat. The Kazakh leader, allegedly. "Kazakhstan is the #1 Jew-crushing nation. Stop stealing our hobbies. Stop the steal." End quote. This is Borat this evening. And really no other way to put it, Mike. Anti-Semitism is trending. Kanye West, the Trump-Fuentes rendezvous. Is anti-Semitism paving its way back to the mainstream, so to speak?
Yeah, it's ironic. Sacha Baron Cohen was actually the headliner at last year's Anti-Defamation League Summit, railing against big tech's role in anti-Semitism and fomenting it and allowing it to fester online, which again is part of the conversation. Here we go again with Twitter under new ownership now and allowing this this anti-Semitic rhetoric back on in large droves now. So we're going round and round at this point. It was an issue before. It's just that everybody is talking about it out loud now. It's become a topic of everyday conversation rather than just something within the Jewish community. It's now being talked about in larger society. I guess in some ways we have people like Kanye West to thank for that, but at least now it's out in the open and can really be addressed, not just within the Jewish community, which has, limited ability to really affect change in broader society. But now when the White House gets involved, when other large entities start getting involved, now you can really start, hopefully, to tackle the issue.
And speaking to that point, exactly, is it going to be a partisan issue from now on? What are we hearing from GOP leaders?
That's really always been the problem, in American politics, at least the last few years, was that it was only convenient to tackle issues of anti-Semitism and confront it when it was, politically expedient for your own party. When it became something else, then it wasn't to be touched. Listen, it's still to that way a certain point, but I think it's incumbent, and I think we're starting to see Jewish leaders from both ends of the spectrum and everywhere in between start to rally together and say, hey, we can't go on like this. We can't let our own sides get away with not speaking out against it. So I think it starts there. You can't expect non-Jewish leaders within Congress or within politics to start making these changes unless it comes from inside the Jewish leadership community. I think we're starting to see really that take fold here over the last few months or so.
The silver lining, perhaps, as you've put it. I-24 News senior U.S. correspondent Mike Wagenheim, thank you so very much for this.